Renegades take map 1 in this best of 3. A very, very big match indeed. Things started out well for CyberZen though. I think the hopes were very, very high considering how many rounds they're putting together on the CT side. But Renegades, they managed to actually bring things back together, guys.
They did. It started off, yeah, as you said, pretty well for CyberZen. I think they were 5-3. But at that point,
a lot of rounds to start with on the CT side.
Absolutely.
If Navi could get that every time, they could just go AFK for the next 8 rounds. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, no, but the problem is, well, first off, Renegades started pushing more heavily towards that B bomb side, and with the pace that we're doing it at, it doesn't really matter if you play aggressively towards that A bomb side as a CT, because by the time you've, reasonably cleared out and pushed aggressively on that, either A halls or mid, the opponent is already going to be out on B and causing havoc. So at best, you're going to have a quick rotation from the back, but you're still not going to be able to help your team with any information that they don't already know, or a rather quick rotation that's going to help them, stop a bomb plan or anything like that. So that's it was a bit rough for CyberZen, and I think Azure did a pretty immense job. He just did a really good job of opening things up, and it's like you mentioned in the pregame, like him getting the room to work around with in drop room. It's going to be a massive problem for CyberZen, and it was.
It was indeed, and also this particular round where they lost at anti-eco against the USPs.
Yeah, in the second half. Yeah,
that was, I think, pretty much a death knell for CyberZen, that map, if you ask me.
Yeah, because still, Renegades haven't won pistols, which we talked about. We said it would be an issue. You don't want to get off to poor starts. And I thought for sure that CyberZen were going to take Cobble as soon as they picked up that pistol on the T side, because I was expecting them to get the money advantage, or Renegades to be in a situation where they could, at best, get one buy at a time before they had to eco if they lost the round, etc., and never really get to the point where they can get an op on IEM and maybe on Havoc too, and play that double op setup if they wanted to do so, or just getting multiple buys in a row, which is obviously massive if you ever want to break the T side economy. So I was really worried for them, but somehow they managed to pull it out with, it was pretty much PT50s, a couple of PT50s, and 5 grenades. And the grenades themselves didn't really do that much damage. I think the first nade they threw was on Uki, and that did the most damage out of all of them, and that was like 40. So they didn't build up a lot of damage with that, but they just managed to hit their shots in that situation, and that's kind of what steered everything back into their direction.
So it's a really good start for Renegades. And this was actually what you predicted, actually. You were saying Cobblestone, immediately you said, okay, this is going to be Renegades map. I think it's going to go 3 maps. So we're moving into Mirage now. And let's start talking about how that's going to be going. Because we already talked about the space control. But now we've seen a bit the form of the players. Today, how do you feel things are going to turn?
I think Renegades, well, I did predict that Renegades would win Cobblestone, but not in this fashion. I thought it'd be much more closer than this. And the fact that not just Azure and not just JKS, but the fact that Havoc and Sponge are hitting some pretty nutty shots on the B side, just rushing in, wrecking it against some really good raw aimers like CyberZen. I think it bodes very well for them coming into Mirage, especially. I just hope that for Savage and his team, they don't quite crack under pressure, because they have a tendency to do that. Most of the Asian teams, they come in really strong and then they lose in such quite emphatic fashion, and they kind of tend to crack under pressure. But I still feel CyberZen can take this 2-1, if you ask me. It all depends on how they counter Savage's op, which they did a great job, by the way. There weren't many duels as such, but they were able to isolate him. Savage seemed kind of lost, was missing his shots. I think all of CyberZen kind of really didn't turn up in Cobblestone. So yeah, I hope they do turn up in Mirage. I think it's going to be very much more tighter affair this time around.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with that, especially because we didn't see that many changes to the CT setups that CyberZen did on the CT side. Obviously, it comes down to the money you have to spend as well, because we didn't see that many times Savage picking up an op, but we never saw him actually take it over towards that B bomb site when Renegades were clearly favoring that bomb site for executions and whatnot. So on Mirage, I wouldn't put it past CyberZen to be frugal with their buy situations and actually save up for that op, so Savage can actually have the opportunity to open things up. But I still want to see more variation as to where they actually try to find either the first pick on their CT sides or things to that nature. From,
do you think like more default kind of play is going to be a better approach, or execute, so these going to be more helpful? Well, but it was healthy mix.
I think you could start off doing the default setups that you want, because if they work. There's no reason to really do anything else until Renegades force you to pull something extra out of your hat. So start out with defaults, see how that plays out, and just go from there. So start simple. There's no need to really start off, with the sickest science project.
And just one thing to add would be there was a couple of rounds on, I think one round in particular, on CyberZen's T side, on a B execute, which they did their complete smoke, flash molly execute. Where they took over an entire side without losing a single person. That was a brilliant execute. The problem with them is Renegades, being Renegades, were able to adapt pretty well to that and were able to shut it down. And that's one thing which I feel one whole CyberZen could fall into, because their executes are so effective against most teams. They're like, you know what, we can just keep doing this again and again, it's going to work out. But they need to adapt more. They need to have, I hope they have more plans, more tactics, and a better default in the bag, just rather than relying just on one particular execute.
Yeah, no, it's really important that they don't get stuck. And we've seen that with quite a few of the other teams, that they actually just end up doing two different things. And one is for the A-bomb side and one is for the B-bomb side, and there's no extra in between. And I guess that's where having people like TB and Savage is really going to help, because they've been in pretty much every situation you can imagine, be it when you're winning or when you're losing. So they should be able to utilize that through a timeout and actually just explain to people that we need to do something different, or we need to think differently for the scenario we find ourselves in. So
I want to see just a bloodbath in middle. I want to see Renegades just going for it in mid if CyberZen are going for these aggressive challenges, like you're saying. I want to see them not shy away, because on Cash, tended to see a little bit of shying away, a bit more coy of a play style coming in from Renegades on their CT side. They didn't prioritize space control as much.
I know that is very true, and again, they're allowed to play that way on a map like Cobble as well, so that kind of fit them
helps
pretty
them,
good.
right?
Yeah, that's not going to be the case on our upcoming map, on Mirage. I think you kind of need to contest that space.
I think mid, them contesting mid is going to be a massive thing. I want to see who takes. Obviously, I'm expecting the way Renegades are playing today. I'm expecting both of them to try and contest mid early on. But who's going to win that battle? Who's going to win the battle of the mines? And one team's going to, in the end, relinquish mid control. Say, all right, we're just going to try and just hold. Either on the CD side, they'll be like, I'm just going to hold the sides and try to go for retakes later on. Or on the T side, they'll be like, just leave mid. We can't take that. I want to see who's going to win that particular battle early on.
Yeah, it's also going to be interesting to see whether or not Renegades want to go for double ops at all, because Havoc had a great game without necessarily touching the op. So maybe you just have Yam playing the window area with the op on the CT side, and if you don't want to get mid control that way, maybe you have 2 to 3 rifles trying to push aggressively to get map control early on, doing it that type of way instead of having 2 oppers kind of playing semi-passively depending on what kind of smokes CyberZen throws out.
One thing that's actually quite interesting about Mirage and with the double off setup, and I've seen some teams shy away from it a little bit, because you can have this situation sometimes. If you have 2 orbs, well, the other team knows that there's 2 orbs probably on mid. This could be presence from them on B, mid, and A. But it's quite cool actually when there's just 1 AWPer, but you never know where he's going to be, because you can, off the spawns, always mix it up. Then there's always this element of the guessing game. And that's always really fun to see. But something I've noticed from casting some of the Aussie CS in the past is that some teams tend to be a little bit more static with their AWPers than the conventional style, or the more contemporary European or style that came out from Europe, which was just moving the AWPer all over the shop as much as possible. So that's what I want to see.
No, I definitely want mobile oppers. I think that's way more fun to watch.
And I'm not supposed to I was basically going analyst mode there, but I want to see ops everywhere. Now, okay.
So to sum it up, you want bloodbath and ops everywhere.
Yeah, bloodbath. Yeah,
and op
this is basically what James wants all the time as well. So I'm speaking for James, my heterosexual life partner.
Yeah, your partner in crime.
Partner in crime.
Partner in crime. Okay, final thoughts, guys, on this map before we kick things off.
Ooh. Well, I said it from the start. I'm expecting a 2-1 for CyberZen, so I think CyberZen are going to take this map.
I think it's going to be close. I agree with Ben. I think it's going to go down 16-13 to CyberZen. It's going to be a close affair.
All right, this is going to be a good one. Remember, guys, Bloodbath, AWPs, that's what I'm hoping to see. I hope you guys will be capturing the action. And by doing so on plays.tv, you have the opportunity to actually win a spot, a free trip to Katowice, which is pretty damn awesome. There's going to be a lot of really, really sick teams going to be playing at that event on the 2nd of March. So it's a big deal. And all you have to do is go to plays.tv, download the Chrome extension, make some highlights with your account from this channel, and that's all you have to do to enter. So get on it, and it is now time to get into the match. Of course, it is going to be Anders casting with Moses.
Thank you very much, Dan. And yes, we are indeed ready here with the second map. It's Renegades versus CyberZen. And pretty much everything is on the line. We've had one Australian team, shown
the exit.
Shown the exit by Mongols. And now Renegades, at least off to a much better start, it seems. Defeating CyberZen to 16-8 on the first map. And Azza starting off strong here on the CT side with a headshot. He was the top fragger on the first map, and he's looking for more. He hits that shot, and what is this? JKS and Sponge helping out Azza with a triple kill at the end of it. That happened so fast, and it looked like CyberZen had even got far enough into the bomb site where they could at least put up a fight.
Yeah, well, I mean, the positioning was nice. They made it pretty deep towards the site, but the issue is there's no smokes, no nades, no flashbangs. That was just basically a dry hit with the Glocks. That gets completely shut down by Renegades, and good for Azur. Ends the last map strong. He starts this one out pretty hot, and that's scary. If he starts, really catching fire. We saw what kind of damage he could do in the last map. JKS as well is a hugely skilled impact player for Renegades. These are guys you don't want to get going in the pistol, and this is a good start to the second round. An opening kill with the Tech 9 onto Sponge.
It's going to leave Havoc, at least for a moment, a little bit alone on the A-bomb side, but backup is coming in from Yam as well. Asa's gone down, so this is looking even better now. Havoc playing this so dangerously. Right at the edge, he's going to let them pass. He walks up behind them with the UMP. 1-2, goes to the hurt, pistols out as well. Havoc nearly a triple kill, and Yam there to take over. JKS running up, he's going to get the headshot on Sokin, and now it's all down to Advent 1-on-2. It was looking so good for CyberZen, but that play from Havoc was godlike, letting them through. And imagine if you'd had an M4 instead of a UMP, that would have been even better. Obviously, it's very hard for Advent to know exactly where he can plant. They could be CT spawn, they could be jungle, could pretty much be anywhere. So he's gonna go for it once, fakes it a little bit here. They do actually have a Molotov. Wow, that's gonna make his life very tough. Advent getting a chance to plant, at least there's that, but they're just gonna shut him down, and the Molotov to follow as well. What a comeback into this round for Renegades.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. That's when you tell Havoc thanks a lot for bailing us out of a tough spot. And actually, even JKS going to salvage the M4, heads up play. That's the thing. I mean, that's what happens when you're down 3 players to 5. Someone has to do something miraculous like that. And it is a high reward, high risk play.
Yeah.
And he gets the reward for it. I mean, if he dies there, that round's over, just flat out.
Yeah, immediately, but that was very, very, very well played. And then Yam was there to sort of instantly trade a frag as well, so it works out really well for them. Well, CyberZen probably a bit annoyed at that situation, but they will still be buying a little bit in this round. And they did get the bomb plant, at least. Sponge charging in here. They don't have armor, and he's tearing through them with his MP9. Advent finally able to get the refrag there. Havoc once more. They're trying to set up. They just desperately want to use these grenades, and they're not even getting a chance to. All on Savage, hiding behind the smoke, and Havoc sees it coming as well. That's a bit brutal, because they were just really desperately trying to set up that play.
Yeah, that's aggression from Renegades. It's designed to just destroy the mentality of CyberZen. Just that, balls out aggression. Pushing forward, not letting them do anything they want. And now when you're CyberZen, now when you're going for that kind of a play in the future, even with guns, you're always going to be worried in the back of your mind about some kind of push. You might hesitate for a second, to do something when you're near that ramp, because you know that Renegades are prepared to push that whenever they can.
Well, CyberZen at least getting some fairly quick mid-control. I think Advent even setting up for a cool smoke that's going to land over towards where Azur is holding. So looks like they've got a good idea of what they want to execute here, CyberZen. They were a bit slow on Cobblestone on the T side. On this map, it might be more forgiving if you play that way. So we'll see how it's going to work out. Azur burning alive. Savage ready to make the jump if necessary.
Yeah, good mid-control for CyberZen here. And again, Azur gets punished, and actually Advent just running right through the smoke. JKS can't hit the shot. Sponge, you've got so many angles to watch, and you can't guess appropriately, but you get that kill. Almost transfers to the second one, but the B bomb set is lost. Yam's going to get a kill towards middle, but great opportunity for him to be traded out by Savage, but he can't see him jumping away. 2 on 3, but what else can they do?
I mean, they obviously shouldn't take the fight too early here so that they allow Renegades to get back in. Otherwise, it should be impossible. And with that frag especially. So Yam actually somehow getting the quick flick in there. Picks up an AK. I'm not sure why he's still going for it. I really wish he'd just save what he has here, because this is pretty much not a winnable position. Like, they would have to make such a huge mistake for him to get back in the round. But I mean, once he gets the kill there and it's a 1v2, I'd say they've done a fair bit already.
Well, and you look at the money on Sponge heading into this round. He only had 1,900 before he's starting to buy. So if he saves that AK-47, that's a drop over to Sponge. That's basically a full buy, 5 rifles. And they still get it out because they use a lot more economy than they really had to. Havoc, I mean, with the UMP kills that he got in those few rounds, he had so much money. So he's still got, I mean, he's bought out though. He's used all of it now.
Really well executed around from CyberZen. I just the catwalk control and the once they get the entry frag. And this time there was really not much hesitation in their play either. Unlike what we saw on Cobblestone, where they seemed just a little bit hesitant even when they got the entries. Yam gonna get picked off by Yuki. It looked like he had the idea then, but wasn't quite good enough.
It was a really cool idea looking over the smoke like that, but Havoc's getting aggressive over towards A ramp. Yam couldn't get that kill. Seemed like he just faded into the smoke and Yam lost sight of him. But look at Havoc's decision making. Once they go down a man, he gets very aggressive either towards ramp or towards halls. He's actually holding halls out. He sees it's clear, so this hit could be very difficult for CyberZen if he can hold this position.
Well, he's going to get the first kill, but are they going to realize that there's 2 people here now? They probably feel like they've checked it, although they will keep shooting at it. Sponge, oh, they line up for him. He takes down Sokin and TB, and now things are going to get really tough again. That was the perfect opening for CyberZen, and still, even though they were actually checking shadows, it wasn't enough. They don't have any grenades either, so they can't even... If they had a Molotov, they could for sure get rid of Sponge. Now JKS coming into play as well, and Yuki, yeah, he gets a kill, but now they know exactly where he is. And the bomb is dropped by Sponge, so this is the worst possible situation for him to be in.
Yeah, Azure basically just has to spot out. Sponge is waiting for his contact to peek on anything. He's going to hear that footstep as well. Now they know he's in shadow, and there's the peek from Sponge. Brilliant round for him, 3 kills. But CyberZen, once again, they're getting mid-control very effectively, even on the second round where it was just pistol force buy. But when they try to take up that A bomb site that round, Sponge is allowed to get those kills and survive because only 2 players dedicated to taking over the site. The other 2 players seem like they were just getting ready to jump the gun and set up for a post plant, but it never comes, and then they're stuck out of the site.
And that resets CyberZen quite heavily here. They do buy P250s and 3 flashbangs, and I'm happy about the flashbangs. Definitely a big fan of that. Havoc, though, doesn't really care. Picking up 2 kills, turning around for more. He's so tuned in right now. He even saw all of that coming. He just couldn't get the kill. Sponge gonna get the shot on Savage there, and Yam with the AK should be able to finish off here. Yuki, it's not really much he could do right now.
Yeah, no, just with the UMP, I don't think Sponge is going to be the one to get aggressive. Azur's going to be doing it, but he's been spotted out, and the aim punch won't let him get anything, so 5-1. This is CyberZen's map pick, but Renegades look heavily prepared for it.
They definitely do. Now you got to wonder, because you did point this out earlier, some of those setups that they were trying to do, because Renegades were so aggressive, they never even got put into play, but I mean, a lot of T sides will just default into the sort of standard A execute because it works so well. And if they had done it in a round like this, I mean, with the push into underpass here, could have been interesting. Azza gonna go for the peak, goes down, but Yam there to trade it. And now, do they realize where the rest of CyberZen are? That's a problem. Yam doesn't even care, gets that frag, and Sponge in the middle there. Actually, how did Savage stay alive for so long? I'm not sure, but they still have the lead. And Havoc masterfully defending this A-bomb site. Yam to pick it up as well, getting the quad kill, making it 6-1 in favor of Renegades, and that's a pause coming in from CyberZen.
Yeah, you can almost see it building up to that pause very early in this match with the way things have gone. Because here's the problem for CyberZen now is they got pushed down on that A ramp, and any kind of setup they wanted there got aggressed and destroyed. It was just an eco round, but now they know that Renegades are going to be highly aggressive there. They've been getting map control. They've been successful with it. They haven't been winning out the rounds, but at least they've been getting it. In that round, Renegades switches things up, gets aggressive in underpass, and they destroy any kind of mid control that CyberZen goes for that time. So now Renegades has a read on how CyberZen likes to take control of it, with 1 in underpass, 1 up at those top mid boxes, 1 more supporting him, and they've just destroyed it. So now CyberZen says, we don't know what to do. All of the ideas that we have to get footholds into these rounds has been just destroyed systematically by Renegades, so we're going to have to switch things up in the middle of the half.
I mean, at this point, you almost wish that CyberZen had been watching the Renegades versus Mongols game and see how badly Renegades reacted to being put under a lot of pressure. Because it feels like right now, CyberZen are almost willing to say, all right, we'll let you get some space to work with. And Renegades say, all right, fine, if we get to dictate the pace of the game, then we'll be aggressive and we'll deny you so much map control early on that you can't even like do any kind of setup. This is really backfiring on them.
Yeah, more aggression out of CyberZen would be great, and like you said, just more decisive takes. I mean, even talking with Semler after the last match, you know, he was like, "So, what happened?" And I was like, "It was dominant win by Renegades, but it wasn't like they just crushed them and outskilled them and just destroyed them. It was a very tactical domination from Renegades on Cobble, and it's kind of starting to seem that way here on Mirage as well."
Sponge getting a little bit of a view. Instantly Molotov'd off here. They want to be just safe about it, and actually Havoc taking that fight. But kind of like what Sponge is doing, especially because they got the flank going in from Yam as well, so they know that they should be able to win this round just purely on a retake. TB, though, making it a little bit difficult there with getting a double kill and stealing the M4. They still do not have armor, and they've got no more grenades, so Renegade still should have the advantage here. Sponge looking for a shot going through, and he's going to pick it up, and now it's all on Yuki, and he's got a Molotov. That could be a little bit fun if there was less time on the bomb. He really wanted to set that up. I don't blame him. That would have been fun.
That's basically the only option he had left to him.
Yeah.
So nice retake from Renegades. It's a little bit scary when Havoc falls, and TB gives his team basically what they needed to win that round, takes control of CT spawn. But they couldn't hold anything else from there. It was only one gun they had holding CT and nothing else. So Renegade just wins that on the retake because of their equipment. And now, I mean, here's the next wrinkle that Renegades is going to throw in is Havoc picks up the op. CyberZen hasn't seen this yet, so where's he going to go with it? It looks like he's going to go towards the B-bomb site.
Ooh, yeah, what a big switch up, actually.
3 players going there right now, actually.
I mean, if Sponge manages to call this correctly, and it feels like he just might, that would be quite incredible. Yam checking all the way top mid as well. Wow, they're not just switching up the defense, they're also still putting in all of this offensive play coming out. Yam gathering the information. Yuki might have heard him. Could he really have done that, or is this just a default check for him? I'm not sure right now. But Yam is going to be walking up behind, and there is the first opening, takes the 1 kill, and now CyberZen must realize things have gone horribly wrong. Savage going to get the refrag finally on Yam, but the bomb is up there. Havoc holding with the AWP on the other side of the smoke, and this is just a disastrous round for them.
Yeah, this map is looking like it's going to be a huge win for Renegades because CyberZen is having a tough time controlling the map. You know, when they have that, when they've lost the rounds and they've had map control, when they've had it across, when they gain mid, and now they're losing it because of pushes because they have no map control. That's a nice shot from Havoc. Almost lands the second one.
Savage. Again, I mean, if nothing else, then just to try and inspire his teammates, it'd still be decent if he could get like 2 more kills in a round like this. And that's a nice headshot. Azza trying to take the jump there. He sprays right at the edge. Savage doing great work right now. He's still got 25 seconds, but Havoc there to shut him down. Triple kill. But that's one of those, it's still one of those plays that your teammates will be watching, and maybe you'll just get a little bit of a feeling that we can actually do some damage here.
Well, they need to either speed things up or I go back to that mid control, because it's so crucial on this map, and they were getting it. And yeah, they got shut down once, but go back to it. See if you can get it again. You need to have that kind of control, because now Renegades, we've seen it 2 rounds in a row. They've pushed B to flank A very quickly. Yeah. Yam pushes up mid there to get the intel. So not having this map-wide control is really punishing CyberZen in these last few rounds. I mean, that's just a big weakness, a big mistake on this map that a lot of teams make on it is, oh, nice shot from Havoc again, just aggressively finds the pick. But if you're just going to set up for an execute outside of one of the bomb sites right at the start of the round, you're going to get flanked. It's just how it's going to happen.
Yeah, and Renegades especially, I mean, they're actually being super aggressive. This time they went for sort of 3-man hold on middle, so they actually were trying to sort of predict what you were saying as well, that maybe CyberZen would go for the mid control here. Instead, as soon as they lose someone over at the B-bomb site, they seem to be wanting to do that default execute, but with Sponge and Sandwich and JKS close on the bomb site, the grenades that are going to land are essentially going to land behind both these positions, so the smokes won't be blocking off any CT players except for anyone coming in for the reinforcement. But Yam again with the huge flank coming through here. I think Savage has seen it, but he goes down to Yam. This beautiful play right now for the Australian side.
Yeah, Sponge even just biding his time. More nades caught in the hands, and Sponge is going to get a double and a triple. Incredible play from Sponge. And Renegades now has a huge lead in every aspect of this match. And CyberZen have already used their timeout, so they're going to have to come up with something on the fly to calm down to get themselves back into this. But it's not looking likely.
Yeah, I'm very impressed by his Sponge. He's also top fragging now. Or nearly, sorry, Yam at 14, but Sponge at 13. And I think Havoc at 12. This is just a very, very strong start, obviously. First half here on the second map. Flashes go over, and they try and make it quick. Counter grenade coming out, and it lands on the whole team. Asa there to clean it up, even with the transfer mid-air. Wow, Asa feeling left out, I guess.
Yeah, gotta be, because he was really excited for those unarmored kills coming through the Molotov.
Fair enough, then.
That puts him up to 9. So another bye now, and I mean, this is the response now. CyberZen, they've got to win these last 4. Got to get up towards 5 to really feel any sort of comfort going into the next half. And Savage has picked up the AWP, so that's the response. And he's going to need to do something magical with it, because it's more mid-aggression. Yam pushing up. Advent holding from far back. He might spot this out and force Yam back.
I mean, Yam still just wins that fight. I mean, this is also nothing like the Yam that we saw yesterday. He did end up sort of correcting for it at some point during the second half, I think, but this is obviously a much more confident player. Savage with the refrag on Asa. Sponge there to pick up TB, and there's still being a man down. Sponge with the second kill too. This is just, I don't know, man. Renegades.
Well, this is what we talked about, you know, is where was this Renegades yesterday? This looks incredible out of them. Whatever Top Gun said to them in the pregame, whatever they did last night, oh my God, what a shot from Savage. But this is the thing too. This is just highlighting another issue. This needs to be happening at the beginning of the round.
Yes. Instead of Savage trying to salvage whatever he can when everybody else is dead, it's definitely more valuable to have him start off with a double or a triple kill. And obviously, because the bomb is way back here and he's got 13 health, there isn't really much of a contest for him to try and like win the round. He could try and go for it, but I don't even think he can make it.
I think that's a bad call, actually. I'd rather see him save it. They have the full losing bonus, so his teammates are going to be able to buy AK-47, so they can go into the next round. Might be a little bit late on light on smokes and nades. But with that AWP, that's a tool he can use moving forward. He was even flash back. There should be no more aggression out of him.
Oh, and I think he realizes, well, now he's just going to make sure he gets far enough away here. But as the time runs out, 6 seconds. Are they really going to go for it? JKS really wants to catch him, but...
They should. That should have been, as soon as that shot goes out, that should have been just rush him. You have so much money built up on the Renegade side. Yam is 14,000. Everyone else had, you know, over 10,000. JKS was a little bit lower, but that's plenty of money at this stage in the game. You try and take that op away from him. And so now the buy is coming out for CyberZen, another full buy, basically.
11-1 scoreline. It's magnificent what a difference it makes watching a team play with no focus or no energy, and then, you know, seeing the same team being sort of tuned in here. It definitely makes a big difference. And Sponge did say this, he'd like to get sort of revenge on the Mongols. You've got to hope that they're going to bring the same mentality into that game, because that could be very interesting then. Advent with the early kill there, definitely a big opening frag as Yam goes down. Savage going to miss the opportunity. Sponge takes another one, captaining the team and carrying them. He is ready today, it seems. He's got the AWP, and now he's just being a huge distraction, but he might be falling right into Advent, who's making a lot of noise here, and Sponge will be going down anyway. Asa and JKS left 2 versus 3. It seems like the best chance maybe that CyberZen have had to find to pick up a second round here in the first half. And long range spray, Yuki can get that headshot, and JKS alone.
Nice round being put together for CyberZen, despite even the heroics of Sponge, almost able to salvage it. Get that man advantage, and they work off it. JKS is still going to go for this retake, though, coming up from CT spawn, but CyberZen has all angles covered, and JKS, despite doing good damage, he is going to fall. So that's the second round, finally, for CyberZen, but now comes the tough part. They've spent this entire half trying to figure out a way to win a single round, much less string a couple together here at the end.
And we've been requesting sort of more commitment and more aggression, and we haven't really seen a lot of it. I mean, maybe the big deciding factor that round was they actually won against Jam in the middle for once.
Right.
And that obviously helps out.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I mean, what they've been getting punished by is just aggression, map control. Look at this Zoking coming up, finds the entry on a Sponge. This is that aggression. This is a switcher pace that might yield results for him here.
It finally happens, and they even predict the jump up there from Havoc because they knew he'd have that AWP, so they actually preemptively grenade the toll booth, and that's a brilliant style. Ends up dying to the Molotov as well. 5 versus 3 for a retake here in Renegades. Are they going to try and go for it? Well, JKS opens up. So that's not a bad start, but Yuki is playing a key position right now in window, and as long as he's patient, it should be working out. I mean, Yam is ready for it, and Yuki losing patience. He still gets the kill, but he could have waited even longer. Now they're in the smoke, and actually, what is this flashback? Oh no! They're defusing inside, as I said, and they're gonna win the round. CyberZen. Seems to be no justice in the universe anymore, Moses. They did everything right up until the last 3 seconds of that round.
That is so soul-crushing to have that round won. And you could see it coming. Renegades had 3 smokes left. And just the fact that, I mean, you were almost just hoping it wouldn't actually happen to them after such good entries from them. Everything that they did that round was exactly what we asked from them. And they did it perfectly until the defuse comes in.
They misjudged the angle with the initial spray, which they would have known if they weren't also getting flashed, because then they don't even know if they're hitting anything anymore. Havoc opening up, Sponge there as well, and this is the 15th round, and he's still got a UMP for God knows what reason. Advent gonna go down, a single headshot from Sponge. 13-2, Sponge dropping an incredible 20 kills in just 15 rounds. I have not seen the Sponge for like, how long? Like at least 8 months or something like that. It just feels like it's been forever.
It has been, but you can see these past few days, you know, from talking to him, from seeing around the hotel, the venue, just focused. I mean, he was back at the hotel yesterday just watching demos all night, watching VODs, figuring things out.
That's, I mean, it's true, and that's exactly what I like to hear. Because you always, whenever you talk to players about their sort of not so decent performances, they'll always tell you, yeah, but now we are going to step it up. We are getting ready to get back in. We're gonna go all out 100% and all that stuff. It's much more refreshing to see people actually try and go for it and actually put some effort in. So
yeah, it's incredible. And I mean, just the amount of frags he had is so crazy. But his role at that A bomb site, how many double kills did he get that saved rounds for him?
Yeah.
It seemed there were rounds where CyberZen seemed to have all the advantages in the world coming there, and Sponge, I mean, Havoc had that initial one when on the anti-eco in the second or third round, but it was Sponge when the guns came out where he just got double kill, triple kill aggressively as well, charging into those A hulls that one round, you know, when they were down a player, and he finds 2 kills and just holds that off. So
there is like a really almost like an ironic switch of sort of roles here, in that the way that CyberZen is being countered by Renegades being as offensive as they are on the CT side is exactly what Renegades don't like when they play Mongols, right? It's like that's what hurts them.
Right.
But Renegades have figured out a way to sort of switch it on the CyberZen team. I'm wondering if they can then sort of apply the same logic if they get to have that matchup again. Look at the amount of grenades on Renegades here.
This is going to be to nade either phone booth or stairs as they come in, and actually TB gets in front of the smoke, so that's a good start. He's taking that ranged battle, but Savage and Zoe can get 2, slow this attack down, so all of a sudden Renegades on their back foot. This hasn't worked out until just now.
They get those 2 refrags. Preemptive grenade coming up, another smoke to try and see if they can get that bomb plant down. Sponge a little bit hesitant, doesn't want to give up any kind of easy frag, but now he's going to commit to it here. It's still a 3-on-3. And they need this round. CyberZen, they must have it as an opening shot from Savage now. JKS and Asa left, and that bomb has only just been planted. They've got all the time in the world, but JKS, he gets 1 shot, second one as well. Savage goes down to Asa, and Renegades, they steal the round with a triple kill from JKS, who I don't want to say he's been absent, but before this round, he only had 7 kills, which was about half or nearly half of the second least on the team. Still very, very impressive and a huge round.
Yeah, well, those 3 kills there are so critical, because not only did he have to get those kills, but they essentially had to stop CyberZen from even getting into the site. The plant wasn't for them whatsoever, so if one member of CyberZen gets in there and on the bomb, they have to expose themselves completely and fight their way to prevent the defuse. And now look at how aggressive Sponge has remained. All the confidence with that AK-47, gets traded off, and actually the P250 is now doing some work, but Azur recovers just in time.
Yeah, that was very scary. Looked like that should have been a second kill there, the flashbang. I'm not even sure where that flashbang came from, but somehow it worked perfectly. Yuki gonna go down though, Savage low on health, and Yam with some Galil action there. Don't think Savage can get back into this round, and he will go down to Yam. That's gonna make it a map and match point for Renegades. CyberZen needing casual 13 rounds in a row.
Good luck.
Best of luck. You say that, Moses, but at the same time you're doing a little head tilt like you don't quite believe it.
No, not just based on the way this is going. Renegades just seem so ready to go in this match, and they're playing so confidently. I mean, they're not doing anything crazy. It's not like they're just running up and taking aim battles. All their aggression has been within the framework of the tactics that Sponge has set up for this team. Except for maybe this one, just walking in A with the P90, but the rest of his teammates are over at B, so he's finding information, and now they've just got to push through this smoke. One member on the other side, Advent, gets 1 kill, traded off, and there is still a second member on Catwalk. Havoc brought extremely low, but he somehow falls down safely, but still, 4-on-3 retake scenario for CyberZen.
The only thing that worries me here is, well, 2 things. There's no kit, and there's no smoke to prevent the Molotov from JKS, so if he saves that for the defuse, they're actually going to put it out already, which I kind of wish he hadn't, but still, it's buying time that CyberZen don't have. They need to get in here and try and take these fights. As they're going to go down, there's Havoc as well, and now all on JKS, and he's so trapped behind it. He gets 1 kill, turns around, second shot as well, JKS, third one. Oh my God, he almost 1v4s them. But they are going to have enough time for the defuse here, and CyberZen barely surviving. What's wrong with JKS, man?
This was the guy remember when they picked him up? It was at a Gfinity, was like his first event with this team.
Yeah.
And he went absolutely insane that tournament. He was incredible. And everyone was like, all right, this addition is all of a sudden going to propel this team to a new level. And you're seeing why. I mean, he hasn't put together a full match, but some of these rounds, high impact kills that he always gets. That time it almost works in a 1-on-4 where he's completely surrounded. But with the plant, they are going to be able to buy into this round, so not taking their foot off the gas just yet. They want to close this out as quick as possible. They have the tools to do it here with 3 AKs and 2 Tech 9s. Complete mid control as well.
Yuki making his way forward, scout in hand. CyberZen, they win the round, but because they only have 1 person living, their economy is still so wrecked, and JKS continuing from the last round, getting the opening frag on Soaking here, and now TB and Savage are holding the A-bomb site, and there seems to be a rotation of every single member of Renegades coming in here, although 3 of them are quite low on health.
Well, the good thing about that is it's the 2 Tech 9s. So well, one's an AK, but 2 Tech 9s are both very low. So they can be sent in first to find out the information for trade kills from those AK-47s. But like you mentioned, at 1 minute and 20 seconds left in this round, CyberZen only had 2 flashbangs. They still have them now, but I mean, they have so low utility because of that round, and this is just going to do more damage to the economy if they can't win this out somehow.
Beautiful Molotov there, forcing TB out. Now they're both holding pretty much the same spot. A third guy rotating in, that's Advent. Smoke is up as well. Havoc with a 1 nice frag here. 35 seconds still on the clock. And I think Havoc spotted the second player now. There's a 2 versus 3, and actually Renegades have the men advantage. TB dropping very low right now, and he's going to end up dropping down. And JKS picking up a double kill. And Yuki, I mean, 1 bullet from the scout, and there it is. JKS gone. Havoc going to get the plant home here. And Yuki, he should be able to keep him trapped behind these boxes. Going for the fight. Havoc looking, all he needs is a single headshot, but he's not going to get it. Yuki shutting it down. And CyberZen living another round.
Just barely, once again, 2 in a row. And here's the thing, I imagine Renegades is just going to buy in this next round as well with another plant.
Yeah.
You know, as they keep losing these, the losing bonus builds up, so they get more money. So once again, they can have a couple AKs and Tech 9s. They can have Galils if they need them, but it might actually, yeah, it is a full Tech 9 buy into this round. So, and even a Galil on JKS. So they know the economy is low. There is going to be an AWP out on Savage, which could just be the deciding factor in this round. But there's not a lot of utility on the CT side. So if Renegades can find some picks, they can be in a good place.
But the only thing that worries me is that 3 of the members of CyberZen don't have head armor, so against Tech9s and Galils, it will be one of those sort of really cool twists of the Counter-Strike gods that they happen to run into just around like this, because that can really hurt. Well, TB and also Soaking holding close to the bomb site here, but the smoke's going to try and see if they can block them off. They got the really forward smoke to try and go for the plant as well, see if they want to do that really quick. Soaking doesn't spot Sponge, who has the bomb in there. Sponge delaying the plant once again, just a little bit. Havoc has already gone down. CyberZen, they haven't lost a player yet, and they're getting some good damage in here as well. They spot Sponge running in towards the bomb site. TB should know that he's on the edge. He gets shot in the face. Had a good refrag. Still a 3 versus 4, and they've got to be careful here, CyberZen. Again, they don't have any real utility. They've already used all the grenades, and there's a headshot. Yam getting it mid-air. Advent with a refrag once. Asa goes down as well. All on Yam, looking for a headshot. He gets the one. No defuse yet. Yam picking up the kill, and now it's Advent. And again, he doesn't have head armor. This Galil is lethal at this range, and that bomb is ticking in front of him. He has no kit. He has to go for it. Yam clicks it away, and there it is, 16-4. And Renegades, they're going to get revenge, or they're going to get a chance at least against Mongols here, as they make it through CyberZen on 2 maps. Wow.
That was so impressive out of them. And you could see it out of these guys. The smiles that have come out, all the work they put in. They executed that game plan. Whatever game plan they brought into this, they executed it perfectly.
Yeah, that was very, very nicely done. I'm super surprised that they managed to make it this far back in just the space of sort of 1 day. Because they weren't looking anywhere near this exciting yesterday.
Yeah, no, they weren't at all. And so, I mean, yesterday they take the day. Today, whatever the speech the Top Gun gave him, put him in the mood. You know,
Top Gun speech. It's perfect as well with that name.
I don't want to be the guy who says I told you so, but I remember sitting at dinner with everyone last night, and I was the only one who picked Renegades to win this, and they all just kind of laughed at me.
Yeah, well, you said it before the game went live as well, so we even have confirmation, Moses.
Yeah, the first time my predictions haven't jinxed anyone. But here's the thing, it's a trend with Renegades. I mean, even at iBuyPower, some of the North American events they've gone to, I mean, remember at that iBuyPower tournament, that was the event where they got 16-0'd, and they came in the next day in the next matches, and they beat CLG, they beat Luminosity, they beat all these teams in best of 3. So for whatever reason, and I mentioned this to Sponge, even in individual matches and tournaments, they seem to start out a little bit slow, and then something happens, and then they kick into that higher gear. So, I mean, that's something they have to fix, because when they go to this major qualifier, if they qualify for the major beyond that, you cannot afford that slow of a start against some of the teams you're going to meet there.
No, that's going to be horrible, isn't it? You need to be absolutely ready on day one. And I mean, we had a bit of talk with Sponge about this as well. And I mean, a lot of teams I know have been looking at getting like sports psychologists, sports coaches like that in to try and help. But some of those, because it is obviously a mental thing, you know. Yeah. And maybe that could benefit the Renegades team, because you see they have the quality here. I don't think CyberZen is necessarily just like a walkover team. No. Even if they're obviously not a tier 1 team, I still think they could have shown a lot more. But yeah, the style that Renegade just showed up with today was perfect.
Well, it'll be interesting to see tomorrow, because we talked about it during the cast. I know the Renegades guys have talked about it, is they feel they match up much better than CyberZen, or much better against CyberZen than they do against Mongols. And tomorrow against that team, now they've got to go back and they've got to find a way to create a game plan and a style that's going to work against a team that just crushed them the other day.
Well, what I'm really hoping is maybe we can get an answer from Sponge, who's actually with the panelists now on the desk. So, yeah, Dan, take it away.
So the Renegades have done it. They have secured the spot at the major qualifier in Columbus, which has to be a huge relief. And we have Sponge here on the desk to talk about it with us. So congratulations. You guys really turned up today. You're looking really hot. So
yeah, it's pretty warm. It's pretty hot in that little stage area. Happy with the win.
Yeah, what was the difference between yesterday, the Renegades we saw yesterday, and the guys we saw today? But there was a clear difference in just how well you played.
I think if you just watch the games from yesterday and today, you can see how much more vocal and loud and that kind of stuff we were. I think that's us in a nutshell. I've tried to tone it down, and I've tried to be a more calm, cool, collected guy, because when we get in those tough matches at the international level, it's very difficult to maintain that for a whole day, especially at a major when it's even more intense. So I tried to bring a more calm style into my game, and that influenced my team negatively. It's something that we keep addressing, and it's something that we're going to have to get across as a mental bridge together. But me jumping around and yelling like an idiot is going to be here to stay if we want to play like that. I think that's the fire in our belly, and that's what we need. And having Top Gun here, we love the guy, and he fills us with that we're going to get. I don't want to swear, but you know,
Yeah,
the Australian
that
way.
Aussie power.
Yeah, we just want it. Yeah.
Yeah, Top Gun looked really animated when we saw you guys like backstage right before that. Just to ask about the map bans, were you happy seeing Mirage being picked by CyberZen? Because you guys looked like you guys were great in Cobblestone, but in Mirage you were completely dominant.
So that was exactly how we thought the map picks were going to go. Like, I'm not trying to be a cocky idiot. Like, that's just looking at their bans and our bans. That's what we thought was going to happen. It was either going to be Keish's their pick or Mirage's their pick. I'm surprised they didn't do Keish, considering we lost and we struggled against EYA on it. But hey, that's lucky for us. Mirage is one of those maps, like, we actually don't practice it a huge amount. It's one of our weaker maps, but when we are in this environment, it's so momentum based, and I feel like once people are hitting their shots, it's a map where you can just open up so many corridors. And we were happy with the ban phase. Both of us played chicken, I guess. Their first ban normally is Dust 2, and our first ban normally is Overpass, and we both neglected our bans. I thought it was pretty cool that we were both willing to do that. But I love that style. Like, I watched so many of their games in the last couple of weeks, and all the Asian teams, and it's fantastic to see like how innovative they are and all the new pop flashes. I would love to get more teams involved in events like this so the rest of the world can see what they've got to bring, because it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, no, I would absolutely agree with that. And but one thing, as you said, you've kind of watched a lot what CyberZen have been doing in the last couple of weeks. Were you very aware of what they wanted to do on their T set? Because it seemed like you had the perfect solution to whatever CyberZen were trying to do. And you could tell that at the beginning of the game, you gave up mid control. They started feeling comfortable, then you shut them down, and from there on out, they kind of get scared, and you start taking advantage of that by sending Yam up mid, getting map control, and basically just controlling the pace of the game from the CT side.
Yeah, they make it really obvious. They telegraph a lot, especially in the demos we watched, that about 1 minute they stop watching middle, especially when they passive hold. Savage usually just watches it real passive. So we watched the demo last night, and we understood that, and we exploited it, and it worked. I thought they were going to come out and maybe try and be aggressive like Mongols, because that style absolutely humbled us yesterday. But lucky for us, like Anders was saying, it was a better stylistic matchup for us. And yeah, I was happy with it.
All right, and speaking of Mongols, now that you mention it, I'm sure you're looking forward to meeting them tomorrow. It's going to be a revenge game, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, if they want to rush in the first 5 rounds, they're going to be met with several grenades, molotovs, flashbangs, and us running at them. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to sit there and take it this time and pretend that they're going to play a respectful style. It really caught us off guard, but we're going to take it to them. You know, like, that's when we get fired up. That's the way we like to play as well. And you know, I'm not going to let them dictate the pace tomorrow.
It does seem like you have a pretty good situation, because you get the chance to rewatch the game, and that was best of 1 as well. So now it's best of 3. I think it's fair to say you guys have a deeper map pool than Mongols. So I kind of reached the spot is looking good, I think, for you guys at the moment.
I hope so.
We don't want to curse it or anything.
Play our best like we did today, or at least try to play our best, and give it all we've got.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming on the desk and talking with us. And again, congratulations. Really looking forward to that matchup tomorrow. But as far as us, let's take a look at some of the action that we've been seeing over the course of the tournament. As you can see, the results there. Coming to that grand final tomorrow for that Katowice spot. It's going to be very interesting to see how this matchup goes once again. The Mongols also now get the opportunity to go and look at the games that they just saw at Renegades. They just got to see a best of 3. They can review it in the hotel. And so one thing I need to ask you, Blair, actually, is are Mongols going to be a team that are just going to stick to their style? Or like Renegades, do you think they have a lot of capacity to adapt to the stuff that they just saw?
I don't think they do. And that's the thing. While like this game was pretty much Renegades just running amok and just destroying CyberZen. I'm very surprised, slightly disappointed as well. Like both Ben and me got the predictions completely wrong. Props to Renegades. They played incredibly well. I love the way they adapted, and I love how, for a change, like we've been seeing Asians being so aggressive, and how Renegades just took the fight to them. They completely dictated the pace of the game. They got complete map control. They completely outread Savage and his team. I'm very surprised CyberZen would allow Sponge to be able to kind of anti-strat them to an extent, to be able to know what they're going to be playing, what spots Savage is going to be holding. So very surprising. Mongols, on the other hand, well, what are you really going to read into them? They're just going to be just aggressive. Like, they're going to be the Mongol who are just rushing in. Like, what is Renegades going to try there? They have to fight fire with fire. And the way Machine, Zilk, and even Sugu are hitting the shots, I think it's going to be bloodbath. I think it's going to be ugly as hell.
Right.
But I think Renegades definitely have the edge compared to Mongols, just because of the amount of experience they have. And Sponge, as an in-game leader, I think is like way more experienced and has a better understanding of how to tackle different types of play styles compared to how the Mongols
absolutely have. And I guess time will tell. It's going to be very interesting tomorrow. Final thoughts, Halvor?
Great to see Renegades show up and actually play the way that we've been hoping to see them play for quite some time, because it's been a while. So that's great. Hoping that's going to show up tomorrow as well. As for Mongols, super excited to see them play more. Super fun team to watch. So that's going to be great. Yeah, tomorrow should be just a really fun match overall. Tiny bit sad for CyberZen, obviously. I expected to see more of them, but they just got picked apart by really prepared Renegades. So for them, it's going to be going back home, redoing, reworking, and try again.
All right, well, thank you guys on the desk. Of course, that is going to bring today to a conclusion. But remember, 25 people who submit their highlights from plays.tv will be in with a chance to win a plane ticket over to Katowice, which is going to be a fantastic tournament, a massive tournament, a lot of money and a lot of great teams on the 2nd of March. So not too far away as well. So if you want a chance, just go to plays.tv, install the Chrome extension, and tomorrow on the this Twitch channel, make highlights. And you can also tweet us with your highlights, because I do very much enjoy some of the action we've been seeing. But from us here today, we are done. We'll see you tomorrow for the finals.